Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
On the wonderful day of December 31st, 1924. What a year it has been. Now here's Rachel with our feature story.
Now, some of you may have already caught wind of the infamous Teapot Dome scandal. The Secretary of the Interior, Albert Fall, convinced the Secretary of the Navy to move the naval oil reserves of Teapot Dome and Elk Hills to the Interior Department. Former President Harding indiscreetly signed the secret order. Then Fall was able to lease the lands to oilmen Edward Doheny and Harry Sinclair after receiving a bribe of $100,000 from Doheny and 3 times that amount from Sinclair.
Officials in Washington first discovered the corrupt dealings in March of 1923, and the public had the first opportunity to hear about it through the Wall Street Journal. This is yet another scandal to taint the Harding administration. Now we will hear an interview from Thomas J. Walsh of Montana as he explains his role in exposing the scandal. Here's Senator Thomas J. Walsh from Montana interview. What part did you take in the investigation of Teapot Dome? I chaired the investigation of the Teapot Dome scandal. What did the Harding administration have to say? They denied any wrongdoing. They gave us numerous documents to support their case. What was one of the questions facing you during the investigation? How did Interior Secretary Albert Fall get rich so quickly? What was the evidence you uncovered during the investigation? After I followed all the leads, I found in the evidence that Albert Fall took bribes from an oilman to give them Teapot Dome and Elk Hills. Thank you, Senator, for letting us use your interview. Now, on to Rachel for the general news.
This Friday there is a school holiday. Mr. Inspector Hicks has authorized us to state that any teacher whose pupils are participating in the carnival this Friday for the hospital may take this announcement as authority to close their schools on that date. These teachers must, however, advise Mr. Kolditz. Tomorrow night, Dungaruba stages the social function of the year, a grand white night where visitors from all over will be present. A good floor, good supper, and good music by the orchestra will ensure the success of the evening and guarantee a happy time. Now here are some advertisements from our sponsors. From Ford, freedom for the woman who owns a Ford. To own a Ford is to be free to venture into new and untried places. It is to answer every challenge of nature, safely, surely, and without fatigue. From the Merck Institute Home Treatment, a new kind of hat worn 10 minutes a day grows hair in 30 days, or no cost. No matter how thin your hair may be, this remarkable new scientific invention is absolutely guaranteed to give you a brand new growth of hair in 30 days, or it costs you nothing. Now here's Kate with a day in history.
On December 31st, 1775, the Battle of Quebec took place. In 1862, the Union ironclad ship the Monitor sank off Cap Hatteras, North Carolina. In 1904, the first New Year's Eve celebration was held in Times Square. And then 3 years later, it was the first time the ball dropped at Times Square to signify the new year. Now, on a sad note, here's Rachel with the obituaries.
William Sutherland died in a gasoline explosion on the 28th of December, trying to fill a gasoline lamp. He was 14 years old. His funeral was today, and he was buried in Anna Cemetery. Frank Mays died in his home on the 27th of December, age 55. He was a member of the Baptist Church. He left a son, Joseph Mays, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. Now here's Kate with the political cartoon.
Well, I'm looking at the political cartoon right here, Rachel, and the big thing it says is, gee, if I could only get something on Coolidge. And the caption underneath is called Poor Picking. And what I'm inferring is that it means that no scandals ever touched the Coolidge administration, and there's a partisan politician who is disguised as a rag picker who is looking through the trash at the White House to try and find a scandal to impact the Coolidge administration. Now a letter to the editor with Rachel.
This was sent to us by Mr. Charles Brooks of Memphis. Sirs, might I be allowed to express my thanks for your continual broadcasting of timely, accurate information. I can always depend on your station to update me on the current news, and my family and I thank you for entertaining us throughout the week. Sincerely, Charles Brooks. Well, thank you, Mr. Brooks, for your continued support of our broadcast, and we hope to continue to go beyond your expectations of radio. Kate with the sports.
Wow, what a year we've had with the world of sports. On January 25th, the first Winter Olympic Games opened in Chamonix, France. The Montreal Canadiens won the Stanley Cup. On November 1st, the first U.S. NHL franchise, the Boston Bruins, was founded. On May 4th, the 8th Summer Olympic Games was held in Paris, France. And then on July 5th, the Wimbledon title was captured by Jean Bartois, who defeated Renee Lacoste. Now to end the broadcast, here's Rachel with the weather.
There is a high temperature of 42 degrees today and a low of 31 degrees with a chance of light flurries. There's a cold front moving in today, so be sure to be careful on the roads and also have a safe and warm New Year's Eve.